Well, good evening, everybody. Happy Monday evening. Great. Well, thank you very much for being on time. I like to get things started on time and end on time as often and as best as possible. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into your text box there. And also you can push the bottom circle button on the left side of your GoToWebinar control panel, and that's a little hand, and I get an indication on my viewing screen that you want your microphone unmuted, and you could join the conversation with your microphone being turned on. And once we're finished chatting, I'll unmute you again. So everybody's on mute right now, and if you want to chat, then just click that little hand button and I'll know you want to join the conversation. So what tonight's session is about is sending out an invitation to anybody who is interested in volunteering to help make the TimeBank work and function and grow. And there's different responsibilities and different opportunities to assist. And I'm new at working with volunteers. It's not something that actually transpired before when I first started up the TimeBank. And my goal here really is, as it is with the TimeBank, it's a self-empowerment process with regards to people participating. It's not a paternal or maternal type of situation. It's creating an opportunity and a venue for people to connect with each other, and anything that we can do to facilitate that's helpful. But other than holding a few hands at the beginning to get people started, we're really looking for independent and self-directed participation, which includes the volunteers. So I'll do what I can in order to help people understand what they can do and how they can contribute, but I'm also looking for your input and your suggestions, because ultimately the TimeBank belongs to every member, and the volunteers working with it have the opportunity to make a difference and direct it in many different ways, and there's lots of opportunity to participate. So I just wanted to point out this website here was the original website. It's been fully updated. There's one page I believe needs some link corrections on it still. If you notice any links that aren't functional, then please let me know. And I've got some new videos on here, Edgar Kahn giving a talk, as well as the intro video, which gives an overview of the TimeBank Exchange website for both members and for administrators, which some of you may become with the volunteering. So this site I built during my research of time banking by looking at all the other time banking websites that are out there and the time banking materials, and I had books and articles and videos and the whole thing, and I tried to put in a condensed form what I thought were the key, most important aspects in a simplified fashion with regards to time banking. It's by no means everything. I tried to make it, like I said, a good overview for people. And this particular one you should all be familiar with by now, where you signed up for your membership. And I hope you've had a chance to go through and check all the different little tabs and what all the different little tabs do. And this particular one, the posting how-to, we can create our own pages. And this is a page that I created to start putting different types of posting tips that come up as people are making their posts. And we can create pages on any other topics as well. So with regards to all of these things, like I said, hopefully you've had a chance to look at it. Your account, etc., with your services and downloads. That downloads one is another one that I've created. We can add any more documents that come along onto that. If you have anything you'd like to contribute to that, that would be great. If you have anything you'd like to contribute to a posting how-to tip that you learn in the process of getting started, that would be great. And the control panel, any of you who become co-administrators will have this show up, and we'll look at that in a moment. And this is another tab that I was able to create within this software in order to create an advertisement for the webinars. So there is customization within this, and there's one fellow who was Bruno. Yes, you're online. One of the original members going back a few years, and I remember you were asking about open source software because the old website was proprietary software, and this is an open source software site. And so the whole structure has changed, and they're in the process of trying to put back some of the good features of the old one that are not on this yet. So this will change and grow over time. And they're looking for input from people in order to provide ideas or programming suggestions with regards to it. And anybody who has information that they'd like to provide to assist is being invited to do so. Yes, it's a Drupal site, I believe. And do you want people able to manage data entry? At this particular point in time, the biggest thing with data entry is it's kind of semi-automated. Is on my control panel here. This is one of the volunteer jobs that I'm looking for somebody to take over. Here's a new person. Every time a new person registers, this pops up into the control panel area, and you can click on this link and it takes you to the person's user application form, and you can see whether or not that they've filled it out or how much. So this gentleman's put in a little bit about who he is. The contact information is private to the individual, neighborhoods, and so on. So the actual source of data entry is going to be this particular thing here. As new members come in, I'm looking for somebody to take over the approval process, which is pretty easy in terms of doing it on the computer. There is secondarily a follow-up process. When I originally started the TimeBank, everybody who applied, I did an actual telephone interview with and asked them some questions and before I approved them. With this particular stage of where things are at and what happened in terms of the number of applications, I just went and approved everybody as they were applying, because there was over 100 members that came in under a week. And I just had no time to do any phone calling, and it occurred to me that I don't really need to, I don't think. There is a very clear indication that members who come in, like I said on the previous webinars, they're volunteer oriented, they're make the world a better place oriented. We don't really need to do any vetting with it. And I think having an open access and giving people the opportunity to come in without passing any tests or passing any type of interviews and that type of thing is valuable. So this process here is just clicking on the link here and the button here to approve them. It's a two-step process. They get sent an email that they have to confirm. Once they've confirmed that email, this changes to something else with regards to waiting for membership approval instead of email confirmation. So there's just a checking this process, but what I would like to have, and I'll go over the types of responsibilities I'm looking for, is somebody who's going to look after the website for things like on the home page here we have the upcoming events, the featured events, and announcements. Each one of those are accessible, as well as the home page here can be edited, whatever is in the center here. But these three here will need regular updates, and the control panel gives you the opportunity to add content, edit content, and customize other pages and so on. So I'd like somebody to take over all of the information with regards to getting these types of notices on the website. They will be events that will be emailed to you, people will propose, it will be organized. So somebody could kind of take over the aspect of managing the information on the website here would be great. Hi there, David, welcome. You have all sorts of things that can be done, and it's a matter of really, one of the principles of time banking is, what do you want to do more of? What do you enjoy doing already? We don't want anybody taking on a volunteer role that they're not happy to do and don't want to do. You may be willing to do something, short term until somebody comes along who's more suited to it. But I would really like people to point out what it is that they are happy and willing to do, so that we don't get into a overburdened or burned out volunteer type of situation. And the other thing is also, it's about time, and we have busy lives, and how efficiently can we do the things that we need to do to help the time bank operate without spending too much time doing it. And if we have enough volunteers, it can be just a couple hours a week to help the time bank go, spread out between 5 to 10 people, and that should be plenty. And like I said, there's all sorts of different roles, which we'll talk about in a minute. So a basic looking after the website with regards to information and information update and approving the people who come online to register. It is just a straight click through. What you have all received from me when you registered is there's an email confirmation that I send out to everybody. So it's a copy and a paste, customized. Very often, when you go to approve the person's, well, let's do that right now. I'll show you what I do. So this person here has made the application, and what I do is I just glance at the application, look what they've said about themselves. Nobody's been able to post anything right now, and there is a place to put coordinator notes where you type in that you talked to the person or you sent them a certain email or whatever. So there's a way of tracking the communication and so on. But what I do is when I approve somebody, I just click on this link here, and it pops up a communication message where I copy and paste a welcome email, and then I customize the email if they've made comments in their bio already, and I customize it with their name and so on, personalize it, so that everybody gets approved. They get an approval email from the system, and then they get a welcome email from one of the coordinators. So again, it's a fairly quick process with the electronics, and I can see that I would also like to do, because the biggest problem with any type of service is keeping people involved. Getting in touch with them on a regular basis, letting them know that the TimeBank is here and available to them. And some people just don't know how to get started. So having a couple of people who are interested in phoning members and answering any questions about getting started and how to do it would also be a very good thing that I think would help people get started. Because really, it's just a kickstart. It's once you're on, you get an offer and a request online as soon as possible after getting registered. Get your question answered, poke around, encourage them to do it. So it's that type of phone calling and emails to help them do that. So let's see, Ian says here, so I may be able to manage the website control panel data entry, but I would like to look more before I leap. That's what tonight's about. And you may need to confirm that I'm suitable. Absolutely. Again, what I would like to do is, this is a general overview of the volunteering process and the volunteering opportunities, and then I'm leaving it up to all of you to contact me and say, well, I'm interested in this and I'm interested in that. We generally want more than one person to accept responsibility for certain things, and we basically train at least 2 people in everything. So if somebody can't do it, the other person can take over, and it's always shared back and forth. It also minimizes the amount of time that each person has to put into it, because the number one thing I've seen in all volunteer organizations is it's the exact same people doing everything all the time, and they're overburdened, and I don't need to get into that situation with anybody. I don't think it's necessary. Let's see, David says, I'd like and I'm good at coordinating and leading. I already spend a lot of time on my computer at work. Is there some phoning and connecting type volunteer work I can do? Absolutely. That's just where I was getting to with regards to live contact with people. The time banking started as a community environment where somebody, like in a local community center, did everything on paper, and people would come in and talk to the coordinator and so on, and the coordinator would help match them up. So again, it was a very personal service, and it's grown now to, with the computers, it becomes more impersonal. So we want to try and maintain as much personal contact as possible, because it is about connecting real humans with, in real world, not just electronically. And so having people making the phone calls, connecting with members, helping them get started, answering their questions is definitely one of the roles. The other role is, with regards to community and connection, is live meeting coordinators, where we have a facility where we can meet and have a live connection with people, have a discussion meeting, run through some scenarios of time banking, have people stand up and introduce themselves and what they like to do, get a chance to build the trust and the connection by meeting people face to face. And that is the way that a neighborhood time bank functions the best. And again, like I said, originally started in small neighborhood areas where people who didn't really know each other, even though they lived close together, got a chance to meet and connect, and have a reason to meet and connect, and have a reason to exchange contact information, and then help each other and so on. And you get to know your neighbors that way. And ultimately, that's what I would hope that the Lower Mainland TimeBank becomes, is we kind of have a global resource for the Lower Mainland where people can connect electronically, but then leaders within a neighborhood, within a city, within a neighborhood, even smaller region, go, I want to see this happen in my small area, and they take a leadership role, helping to promote the idea of the time bank within community centers, within any organizations that are there to help spread the word, and even free postings. There's all sorts of free postings online. Craigslist, that's where I got members initially. So I put time bank ads in the volunteering section of Craigslist. Probably got 10 or 15 members out of that. So there's those types of things that can be done to spread the word. Most of you here have come from a single CBC radio interview done by the founder of time banking, Edward Kahn. There was just over 100 members that came in from that one radio interview. Now I'm assuming they played it more than once, but that's pretty amazing impact for having one resource just talking about the idea. He never even mentioned there was one in Vancouver, and people went looking for it. So imagine how many people were interested in it but just didn't get around to looking for it on the internet. Very high level of interest. There always has been. And again, it's about getting the word out and building a core group of people who help to make it go. So that's what I'm hoping that you folks will take charge, take the lead in whatever way that you want to take the lead with regards to maintaining the actual technical side, and going out into your local community and spreading the word, going online, posting advertisements for the time bank. And I don't have any places to meet at the moment. That is, at the beginning, that was always one of the problems, was having a physical location. So I really have focused on building it electronically, because so many people are online. We have the website, but I don't have, and I've got a Facebook account for it, for the time bank, and I do not have a Twitter account set up for it. That's easy enough to do, but there's also the opportunity for people to do social media type of promotion for it, in order to, again, get the word out. So I would hope that if anybody has contacts, and this is one of the questions that's always going out to all of the members, is if you know of a physical meeting location in your area that we could use for free, please let me know, and we'll start setting up meetings. Now the Lower Mainland's a big area, and we could have meetings in different places at different times in order to kind of have that connection. In the short term, because it's a smaller group of people right now, having a location anywhere to meet, and then having everybody come from all over for that and get a chance to meet each other and connect and all that would be great. So we are looking for physical places to meet. There are some restaurants. I know the ABC restaurant offers meeting room to groups, and you have some ordering of some food that's involved, and there's some type of criteria for getting the room, and that would be a good opportunity to connect over coffee and tea or whatever. And like there's one I went to a meeting at just a while ago for something else out in Burnaby, and it probably seated about 30 people or so. So there are different size things out there. So I encourage you to have a look around your area and find out about locations to meet. That physical location is something I would like to do sooner rather than later, but it's not absolutely necessary, because again, I think the fastest way that the time bank is going to grow membership is through the electronic connections that everybody's using now with all of the different systems that are out there to spread the word. So if you have any ideas, please feel free to share. That's part of, again, what I'm looking for, is not just volunteers asking what can I do, but volunteers who say, here's a good idea, I'm going to go do it, or here's a good idea, I'll run it by you, do you have any suggestions about making it a better idea, and then I'll go do it. Again, this is not something that I'm doing in order to be the leader or control anything in particular, but I would like to assist people to be more efficient with it, and as effective with it as possible. And you may know a lot more about certain things than I do, and that's just absolutely wonderful as far as I'm concerned. How often do you suppose we would need to use the meeting room that we're looking for, is the question. It really comes down to two different issues. One is having the volunteers come together for team meetings with regards to structure, organization, execution, and just having a chance to share some time together, because building a team is a very important and valuable aspect of this. And the second aspect is actually having member information meetings where we have new members have the opportunity to come to a local area and they can see a presentation. I have an overhead projector, not an overhead, but one of the video projectors, and I can run a PowerPoint presentation and walk it through and just again connect and do some training around it as well. And there's some actual exercises to demonstrate how time banking works physically, just with people in the room, which are kind of fun to do, and it really drives home what it is and how it works. So there's the two issues with meeting. One is for the volunteer group, and one is for the members and potential members. And there's two potential meetings there. One is an information training session, so an information for new members and training for new members. And then what has built the time bank over time in other areas is potlucks. Those are really a popular way of bringing a community together, is have potluck meetings where people bring food and share food, and breaking bread together is a time-honored tradition of building relationships. So that's another fun way. There's all sorts of opportunities with regards to that. I'm going to provide you with some information for you to get more ideas about what it takes and what's possible and different things that different organizations have done. Do you need somebody to help organize the management team, make decisions, do planning, etc.? Absolutely. That's something that I'm looking for, is somebody who can take over coordinating. That's what I was looking for, was a volunteer coordinator who would basically handle working with the volunteers. Like, again, that's not my skill base, and that's not where I have the time to put into it. So anybody who is comfortable doing that, again, communicate with me directly about that, and we can have some conversations, and happy to encourage people to do that, absolutely. Oh, there you go, David. Again, I'm curious, how many of us are online? Well, actually, there's 8 people online right now, and there was 12 people that were registered. So I thought that was a pretty good number of people interested in volunteering. And I asked people to, I know that some people registered that couldn't make it, so they're waiting for the replay in order to hear about it. So that would be great. Okay, so Ian would be interested in helping with management. That's great. And again, the whole idea is everybody's got different skills. Everybody's got different things that they enjoy doing. Whatever it is, don't hesitate to let me know about it. And the other thing is, if you'd like to try something you haven't tried before, that's fine too. So whatever you think you might like to do, feel free to offer it up. Now, this is a link off here. There's two links: discussion forums, where you can actually go to, and you'll see the different discussions about building a time bank. And again, what I'm looking for is people to work with who are not just waiting to be told what to do, but who are actively learning about time banking and going on your own time to learn more about it and enter into the discussions and study what other time banks are doing. That's really all I did to get started, and I highly encourage people to do that. That's a link to our home website, and this time bank help resources is an interesting action hub that they have put together in order to offer training and support, and it's again just starting because of everything being new with regards to the new Community Weaver. And so again, feel free to explore these things here. You can create your own account for it in order to access various things in here. And there is a member's manual to deal with the new Community Weaver. Community Weaver is the name of the Exchange software that we're using. And this is version 2. Version 1 was the proprietary one, version 2 is this open source one. So there's a member manual, coordinator manual. You're welcome to explore those things. And if you're into programming, there's customization packages if you like doing that sort of thing. And then general questions for coordinators, members, and site administrators. Again, explore whatever it is that you wish to explore, and communicate to me with what you would like to do. So as you can see here, Testy McTester, he's hanging out here, testing everything, making sure that everything works. It is relatively new. There are also TimeBank coordinator teleconference calls that happen every week. And this is an international conference call where people largely from North America, but I believe there's some from Europe who also attend. And it's a place where they talk about what's happening with the software, it's what's happening in certain communities. They're trying to create a connection between time banks as they're developing and supporting each other to grow more. So for anybody who's really into doing that sort of thing, then you can definitely get involved in that as well. This is timebanks.org is the home website for the U.S. Time banking organization, and this is the organization which our time banking software comes from, and Edgar Kahn is the founder of. And you can find all sorts of information in here with regards to operating a bank and different types of time banks and so on. How to start a time bank. I mean, there's information on different things about starting it. So again, lots of things for you to study if you would like to go down that route. This is something interesting. This is time banks around the world that are associated with Time Banks USA. And if you click on the Canada list, you can see that there's a few different time banks. And here's ours, Lower Mainland TimeBank. Active members at 153. So like I said, there was just over 100 that joined up in the last couple of weeks, which is a pretty big push. And this one here is on Vancouver Island, East Souk Exchange. I sent a number of people over there because we had a number of inquiries from Vancouver Island, and I had people from Ontario and Nova Scotia and Saskatchewan calling us. Here's a Winnipeg one. So you can check out what else is around there. Many of them have websites. You can go onto their websites and see what they're doing and how they're doing it and what they're organizing in terms of get-togethers. So again, it's a little bit of go out there and learn what you'd like to learn about it and come to the table with whatever ideas you'd like to have. So that's my basic overview for the volunteering concept, and this is something that I'll be sending to, actually what I'll do is I will get the link for this because it's a link you can download directly. I'll just grab that right now, so just give me a moment. Oh, any questions, feel free to type while I grab this information for you. So type away with questions, and if you have a question you want to ask, unmute your phone, just click on that little button with a hand on it and I'll unmute your phone. I'd be happy to have you join the conversation. Like I said, I'm just grabbing this link and I'm going to paste it into the box so you can download it right now. This is a manual. It's a number of years old now. It's one of the manuals that I used as my training manual, and it's got a lot of information about setting up a time bank and creating a what they call a kitchen cabinet. And that kitchen cabinet is the people who would be the volunteers running it. And ultimately what they're teaching here is that there's three different or two main ways: the neighbor to neighbor, which is the focus of the Lower Mainland TimeBank, and then they're specialized where you can go into dealing with the community in a larger way, the justice and lots of things, but we're not going to go down that route initially, but volunteers may take it down there in the future. So let's see, chapter 3 here, resources for getting started. People you will need. So this outlines, this is kind of fun, they outline the different types of people. And by the way, they use the word time dollar as two separate words. And as I mentioned on the previous webinar, I'm avoiding the use of the word dollar entirely. It's the #1 issue that I have had with everybody with regards to education where people keep on trying to relate what we do to money. And people keep on talking about, is it tax, what about Revenue Canada, and is it tax related, and can I sell my services and stuff like that. So they're still using time dollar. I avoid it entirely because, like I said, it creates nothing but problems with people understanding the fact that it's got nothing to do with dollars. And so we use time credits, and as a single word, not as two separate words. It's a noun unto itself as far as I'm concerned. And so here's a list of the different types of people that we need in a time bank. Oh, a sunshine person. Guess what they're going to do? And a clerical person. Guess what they're going to do? Okay. The different roles. The kitchen cabinet or core team. Okay. And they break it down to board members, whatever you want to call them. It doesn't matter. All right. And the types of operational staff and the types of people that are needed for the various types of jobs that can go on. So again, this is a very good manual in terms of outlining what we would be looking for with regards to volunteering. So I'm not at this point asking for any commitments. I'm just wanting to have this general conversation and provide you with this manual and encourage you to read through it and see what you think you would like to participate in with regards to your skills and your time available. As I said, this is a little bit dated now, but the very basic principles of how to set it up and how to deal with it are very well covered. And I will just, let's see, I've sent you a link. You should have a link in your text box there. And if you click on that, that will download. It's a PDF document. It will download directly to your computer, and you can refer to it. I have collected over the years quite a bit of information on time banking. So there's lots of resources that I have available for anybody who wants to learn more and study. And like I said, there's day-to-day operations information in here. How to connect and what the process is. So again, there's lots of good information in there, so please download it and have a look at it. Let's see, another comment here. Given potential for multiple inputs to TimeBank documents and the range of personnel, who monitors any input reaccuracy? I'm not sure what you mean by TimeBank documents. There's if there's any paperwork or PDF documents that are going out for membership, I would like that to come through me as the because I'm the one who knows the most about the time bank right now, so that all the stuff going out would be properly vetted before it went out. And with regards to information on the website, pretty much the same thing. Run it by me initially until we have people who are up to speed on the whole aspect of time banking. And I do have my own personal take on time banking, which is like every time bank takes on a personality based on the people that are operating it. They'll have a particular focus, or they'll have a particular way of doing things, and that's fine. So the time bank will initially have my style to it, but as more members get involved and as more volunteers get involved, it will take on multiple personalities, which is exactly what it should do. So I encourage that entirely. I have a small office in North End that we could use. Would that be for a meeting space, David? Yes, okay. So for volunteer meetings, I'm assuming, rather than member meetings. Because we'd probably be looking at between 5 and 10 people for the volunteer meetings, I would expect. So yes, okay, great, thank you. Now this is one of the things. I have a lot on my plate right now. I'm actually busier than I've been in a while right now, and the time bank hitting like this couldn't have come at a worse time for my time. So I'm spent a fair amount of time trying to get the TimeBank back up and running and tuned up and the website cleaned up and various other things and doing these meetings and so on. And part of the problem is information overload with regards to people offering help. And that's where having a volunteer coordinator who I can hand stuff off to and say, here, this is the person you talk to about volunteering anything, and emails and so on. I mean, I had so many emails along with all my other stuff to go through and try and find everybody who had volunteered. I don't want to miss anybody. So having that is a very valuable thing. So if you're offering something to me now and I don't get back to you, it's not because I wasn't interested. It's because I missed it. So having a centralized place for this type of information to go to and have somebody who has the time to deal with it fully and correctly, like I said, that's what I'm looking for, is immediately somebody to take on that sort of thing. All right, so your office is good for about up to 5 people. Okay, well that might be fine once we get down to the working group. I don't know. I would expect we might even have a couple more than 5. And it could be anywhere. It could be somebody's living room who's interested in doing that, and it could be a local look around your place. If you have an ABC restaurant, they usually have those meeting rooms. And if you have a community center near you, inquire about free meeting space. There are community rooms that are available in various places. So basically it's look around and check it out. Oh yeah, local church. Yes, David, absolutely. Local church sometimes are very open to helping volunteer places have a place to meet. So definitely, and this is every one of you is a resource for who knows what, and you don't even know all the different connections that you have in the community with regards to meeting space or whatever else that would be of benefit to helping the TimeBank go. So this is just like digging into what can I offer and what can I request. It's who are my contacts and who might be able to help with this. And as you're mentioning to people about the TimeBank and what a great idea it is, you can also bring them on board with regards to whatever it is that that we're looking for with regards to meeting space or anything else. There is also the opportunity for businesses to sponsor the TimeBank financially or with products or goods or anything that they have that would be beneficial for the TimeBank or its community. For instance, there's a cost for the software, the exchange software. There's a yearly cost for accessing that. There's costs involved for the phone and various other things, the hosting costs for the website and so on. So I've been carrying that for a while now, and it'd be really nice to have some sponsorship in order to start paying for those things. And that's the other aspect of it, is I have on the website with regards to members a voluntary donation level, and it's always voluntary. I hope it should always be voluntary, but people I think will be happy to donate if they get actively involved in the process of making offers and requests, and then actually having some exchanges. And by getting emails about events that are upcoming and reminders about this and the other thing, they'll go back onto their website and they'll go, oh yeah, I should look on there. I forgot about that, right? And so it's keeping people involved, reminding them that this is here as a service and to stay involved, and they get benefit. And as they get benefit, when we invite them to make a contribution, they'll be more likely to do so because they're actively using the website. Question here from Ian: is the Lower Mainland TimeBank a formal organization, nonprofit, registered charity, etc.? Absolutely not. It is a free organization of private individuals with no affiliations to any government or charity or anything else. I think that this is the purest form, and that's one of the things I like about the TimeBank, is it's a pure form of private interactions between private people, and it's doesn't require, would never consider registering it as a registered charity or a tax status or anything like that. I think the further away that we get from system registrations, and the more we get back to people dealing with people in their home communities, having real connections and supporting each other instead of looking to the government for help, either financially or with experts or anything else. I think it's what we need to rebuild our society, quite literally, is to have that type of power for the people, putting it back in their hands, letting them know that you actually are the power in the society and you got to take responsibility for it. And that means reaching out to your neighbors and seeing how you can help out and seeing how they can help you out and really rebuild things from the ground up, total grassroots. And if you think about it, you know, where do the grassroots grow? They grow underground. So this is the new underground. It's the grassroots. And time banks literally do have the opportunity to rebuild society if we connect people into them, because again, it draws the right people in for the right reasons, and it teaches people about personal responsibility and reaching out and building community 1 hour at a time. So that was one of the big things that really attracted me to it. And there's my soapbox pitch. I'm glad you liked that one, Ian. So any more questions or comments right now? Well, I don't see anything coming in. Anybody want to raise your hand up and chat live and in person? Don't be shy now. Let's see, going back to a physical location. The place where I live has a common room. Could they be a member that get credit hours for use? Normally they charge for use, but I could see if you get it for free or something like that. The last part of it. If they would take volunteers instead. Right. Yes, many condominium complexes and apartment complexes have common rooms, and they offer them up to people who live there for certain events. And I know some of them do it with a damage deposit, which is then reimbursed to the individual after everything's fine. And some of them do it for a small charge, and some of them do it for free. So yes, if you live in any environment that has a common room, check it out and find out what the deal is with it, and see if it could be used. And again, if it's a group of people getting together and it's not business related, it's not a party, it's just people getting together and visit, then you know, that would be great. So if you guys can take the lead on that again and do that, that'd be wonderful. Question here: do answer to our offers only come to us on the TimeBank, or can we receive responses via email? Well, the TimeBank software is set up to operate as a private network, and that means that everybody is able to communicate within the system, and you get a notification when you have mail, and it keeps the conversation inside. Oh, gee, do I have some new messages from Judith? So you have the opportunity to keep your conversations in one place. So it's very convenient to have the communications stay in the system, and the system notifies you when you actually receive an email. Because if there is a problem, the place to go for help with a problem in an exchange is to a coordinator, to the TimeBank coordinator, and say, this is the situation, you know, there's been this problem with this individual or this exchange, or the right amount of credits wasn't given, or something like that. And to have those communications done within the system allows us to easily review it, because the coordinators can see those communications and can adjust accounts if they've been incorrectly done. Very often what happens is the wrong person gets credited, or they've reversed the exchange so that they meant to give it to one person and the wrong person got it. So it's like the receiver, the giver of the service didn't get the credit, the receiver of the credit, you know. Anyways, people just enter it wrong, so it needs correcting. So yeah, the best thing to do is to keep it on the system, and that also allows for the privacy aspect of you don't have to share your email with people. You can do that because once you're making a communication about an offer or a request, at any point in time you can take it off of that system and go to making phone calls or go to direct email or whatever you want to do. Again, this is a tool to help people get connected. Once you're connected, you do what you want. There are literally no rules. This is a system that people will, use however they see fit for themselves. And just like I make the analogy with Craigslist, it's there for people to place an ad, and if you see an ad you want, you contact the person through their system, and then you trade phone numbers or do whatever you do in order to get whatever exchange that you're doing there. So it could be and should be, I think, very much the same with regards to this this particular system. Let's just take a quick look at some of these ads here. Oh, gee, there's some community activity requests with regards to this Lower Mainland TimeBank guy. Man, he's asking for a lot of stuff. Got to watch out for those types. See, here's a couple of offers, which is great. You click on the offer, and you can read about the offer, and then, generally speaking, are you on here? Yeah, Terry's on here. So if you click on the name, you get taken to the individual's information, and you can read about the person. Hey, Terry, and then decide if you want to follow up on it and send them a message, and that's where it gets started. And there's private contact information that's available to the coordinators, but nobody else. And then their time is down at the bottom. So again, it really is convenient and private to start the process. So I think it's great to do that, and then again, people are going to do what they're going to do. Once you get to know somebody, you're going to be quite comfortable with trading addresses and phone numbers and whatever else. And let's see. And oh, that's right. The TimeBank can access the offers, but we don't get notice of the offers going back and forth. When you post an ad, we don't get a notice there's been an ad posted. So this is the other thing with regards to new members and yourselves included. As potential volunteers, I would hope that you would be the first ones most motivated to get your offers and your requests online. And there is a 2-hour time credit for everybody who gets their first post online, whether it's an offer or request. If you get one offer online, you get a 2-hour time credit, and that allows you to start trading. And then if you get 3 offers and 3 requests on at the same time, then you get an additional 2 hours time credit. So it really is to encourage people to get those offers on, because the TimeBank, let's put it this way, we have 100 new members. If each one of them got 3 offers and 3 requests, that'd be 300 potential offers and potential requests online within literally a week or two. And we'd go from having just very few, because again, we're starting at 0 with the new system, and we'd have an active and dynamic TimeBank. It won't take a lot, and as people use it, they'll end up spreading the word and creating more excitement and more energy around it, and so on. So when I register for the webinar, are new Java applets added to my computer each time? I don't believe so. I've just started having an issue where I actually see a Java applet come in and stuff like that, and I don't know whether, and that never used to do that. So it may be specifically related to the registration. It might just be a new code because it's a new registration for each webinar, but I don't believe it creates a whole bunch. I don't know the technical answer to that, so I've noticed that as well. I don't think it's a problem at all. So I hope that answers that question. Sorry, I don't have a better one for you, Dorothy. Does the notification come by email or only to the Lower Mainland TimeBank website? When somebody sends you a message, you receive a copy of that message to your email that you have registered as your member email. So you get notified that, oh, you've got a new message on the Lower Mainland TimeBank. Here's a link to go access it. And you should have already received some of these, because I think we've swapped some emails back and forth. And you can actually see the message as well there. So you click on it, it gets you into your TimeBank account, you see it on your TimeBank account message, and then you respond right there on that same page. So it's pretty efficient that way. If you understand it correctly, I have to go to the TimeBank website regularly, right? If you want to search for offers, yep, you got to go there. If you want to post any offers or requests, yeah, you got to go there. And the idea right now, as we're growing, is to check in from time to time to see what's new, because I want to see. I haven't had a chance to check. I'm going to view all offers because it'll just list everything and just see what's here. Oh, somebody's offered computer repair. Dave has offered computer repair. So that's new. I didn't see that there the other day. So actually I just had a computer issue with a friend, and if I'd known about that, I would have told him to get his butt onto the TimeBank and talk to you. Waste reduction service, interesting service. Business coaching. Yeah, so there's lots of different things here. And so that's the whole idea, is just like, again, with Craigslist, if you want to buy or sell something, you log in to see what's there. And it's the same thing with the TimeBank. When you need something, go and look in the TimeBank. And this is, again, part of the training process for all new members, is, again, get them online with their offers and their requests as soon as possible. And it's a coaching process, it always is, with people to understand what they can offer, because most people undervalue what they can offer and what they can request, because most people aren't used to asking for things. So that is the most difficult thing, is to get people to the point of identifying their offers and requests. And like I said, it is a coaching process. So a hand-holding process with new members, where we have some emails going out to them, giving them basic information about what to do, reminding them to do it, having a personal call from a volunteer to walk them through the process. There is a couple of downloads on the site with regards to filling out forms, with regards to creating your offers and your requests. So like I said, that really is the big stumbling block. So the more we do as a volunteer group to support people to do those initial steps, the more that will actually occur. And like I said, every time you get an offer or a response to an offer or to a request, you will get an email about it. And this is the other thing I'm doing more effectively than I did the first time, is planning regular email contacts with members, because they're going to forget about it if they don't get regular contact information about what's going on, or reminders of this, that, or the other thing. So that is another aspect of the volunteer with regards to communications. So emails, somebody to stay on top of regular emails. There is a broadcast email system built into this, where I'll just show you that. Basically, we'll log in and we can send a broadcast email to everybody who has requested to be on the email list. And we just type in whatever we're going to send, and we select either some of the group or the entire group, and we send it. And we can also send it to specific affiliation groups or specific neighborhoods, and by role as well. So I can send a message just to the coordinators or assistant coordinators, etc. And I can send it out just to the people in Burnaby and so on. So there is some customization with it, which is quite good. But having regular communication, I would expect at least 2 email communications a week to members to remind them that we're here, and keeping them involved. And anybody helping with maintaining that regular contact with people would be great as well. So we're coming up to 8 o'clock, and I want to be finished on time. I wasn't sure how long this would go, but I definitely want to be done by 8. So if you have any final questions, please type them in, and I'll address them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, thank you. All right, thank you. I do appreciate hearing from you guys. If you feel that what I'm doing is effective, because that's my biggest concern, is that I'm actually providing information that is valuable and presented in a way that helps people. So hearing that you appreciate it gives me the feedback I need, because I feel like I'm talking to myself here, as I mentioned before. So what I would encourage, how do we contact you via email is one question. It is the you can email me at michael@lmtimebank.org. You can do it through the system. I'm on the system as the actual LMTimeBank. Org is one of the members, because that is where we pay people the time credits from, is that particular account. So you can do it online through the TimeBank website, and you can do it just directly to to me at michael@lowermainland or LMTimeBank.org. For instance, if I want to write a message, now I'm going to write myself a message. Okay, so here we are. We're logged into the Lower Mainland TimeBank org, and I want to write a message to me in my private account. There I am. Okay, so you can type in the name, and you can put the subject in, and then you type your message, and then you can preview it and send it. So you can use this communication system. Like I said, it's easy. It keeps it all stacked up in terms of all your communications in historical reference, and we can go back and forth on it that way very well. There is once we get people on board with the communications, I'm sure we'll be swapping email or phone numbers as well to make it easier to connect. So lots of opportunity to get together. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate it. And thank you, David. Okay, so what I will do is a couple of you have offered kind of leadership with regards to the coordinating of the volunteers, and what I would invite you all to do is to send an email through the system here, and send me an email with the subject volunteer, and then just send me a message as to what of what we've talked about, and when you get a chance to go through that book, what you see you might be able to provide as a volunteer service. Basically give me an indication of what you'd like to do and what you can do, what you want to do, and I'll have them all in one place with the same subject, because this makes it a lot easier sorting emails where it says volunteer on it, so that I can make sure that I don't miss anything. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, that would be greatly appreciated, and I'll look forward to touching bases with you again shortly, and having an in-person meeting with everybody who's interested and available to start doing volunteer stuff right away. Like I said, I'm looking for a coordinator immediately to help me coordinate the other people who would like to volunteer and be more directed in terms of what they're doing. So having somebody help organize that with and for me would be fantastic. All right, so we're just before 8 o'clock, so I want to bid you a good evening, and there is another introductory webinar on Wednesday night, and that's going to be going over more in depth the operation of the TimeBank website here, the Exchange website. The idea with these webinars, and I like efficiency, is do them once, put them online, and people can go and review them as they come on board, so we're not teaching the exact same stuff over and over. Of course, there will be updates from time to time as we move along and changes are made and so on, but people can watch the existing webinars. So we're going to do the next webinar on creating offers, creating requests, and operating their accounts on the TimeBank. So pass the word for anybody who you think might be interested in time banking, and enjoy the process of learning about it. I look forward to talking to you in person sometime soon. Have a good night, everybody.